1962's King Kong vs. Godzilla was a massive success for Toho. So how do you follow up a film that featured two cultural touchstone monsters? You pit Kong against a big robot version of himself, created by Doctor Who. Oh! Nope, not that Doctor Who, but a guy who's basically a James Bond villain, because, you know, that's what you do. And instead of making a direct sequel to the previous Toho film King Kong vs. Godzilla, they decided to make a live-action adaptation of the mostly forgotten 1966 The King Kong Show, a co-production between Toho and American production company Rankin & Bass, the company that produced some of your favorite stop-motion holiday specials and 80s cartoons.
Thunder! 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 Thundercats!
Toho's initial plans were to have Kong face off against Ebirah, the lobster kaiju, in what was to be called, for some reason, Operation Robinson Crusoe, and would have featured Mothra. Rankin and Bass were not on board with that, and that idea just turned into Ebirah Horror of the Deep, and that just became a Godzilla film. Rankin and Bass wanted the film to draw more heavily from the animated King Kong show, and what we were finally given was King Kong Escapes. Our tale begins with Kong enthusiast Commander Carl Nelson of the UN Research Council submarine and his crew out at sea on an oil-seeking expedition near Mondo Island, the supposed island of the legendary Kong. Urgent repairs to the sub allows the crew enough time to visit Mondo Island and soon discover that the mythically epic legend of Kong is indeed true. Meanwhile, the villains are the evil genius mastermind Doctor Who and the mysterious Madame Piranha, who is financially backing him to obtain the rare element X for her unknown country. And due to the high levels of radiation and the icy depths of the North Pole, Doctor Who creates the giant robot Mechani-Kong, modeled after Kong himself, to mine the element X. When that doesn't go according to plan, they kidnap Kong and have him mine the element X. So Commander Nelson and his crew are tasked with stopping these supervillains.
With this, the world is ours.
King Kong Escapes is fairly entertaining, but in comparison to King Kong vs. Godzilla, it's a little bit lacking. It feels like maybe this film should have been made first, and then we get an epic match against Godzilla. For me, it just feels lesser and not as important as a film. That being said, I still very much like it, and it has quite a bit of charm, and does introduce newer elements to Toho kaiju films, like over-the-top villains and wacky spy tropes that feel right at home in a James Bond film. There are aspects to this film that are significantly better than King Kong vs. Godzilla, namely being the suitmation design of Kong. Not that it takes much to be better than that. All kaijus and kaiju fighting robots are up to snuff here. Without Mechani-Kong, the awesome Mecha Godzilla may not have even ever happened. With the exception of the cartoony villains like Doctor Who, the human characters are par for the course here, and that's fine. My only real complaint is how underwhelming the final confrontation between Kong and Mechani-Kong is. There wasn't much of a back and forth between the fight, and it was kind of lackluster. My opinion on that may be a bit biased because I generally don't care much for robot versions or doppelgangers as a plot device in film and TV. Overall, I enjoyed King Kong Escapes, and I do recommend it, but mostly for Kong completionists. And if you enjoyed this, I'll soon be giving my thoughts on the epic sequel, Son of Kong.